Well, welcome back to the Two Pennies channel. We are so excited this week to be able to share with you the story of the Love and Care home. Our relationship with Love and Care actually goes back to 2011 when Moses, Kofi, and myself took our first journey to Ghana. Comfort and Ebenezer had founded the Love and Care Foundation in early 2011. When we first visited them in August of 2011, there were 6 children living in the home, in a home that they had purchased in the village of Swansea, which is about 45 minutes north of where they lived in Cape Coast. Comfort and Ebenezer had hoped to have a family of their own, but when that had become a challenge, in 2010 they decided to open their home and open their lives to the children who were without families.
Right, these kids are children from very deprived communities with virtually no care. This
was inspired largely because Ebenezer had grown up as an orphan, and so he knew the importance of the role of parental figures in these kids' lives. So starting with only their own resources, Comfort and Ebenezer purchased a home in Swansea, a village about 45 minutes north of where they lived. We had the opportunity to meet with Ebenezer once again, and during that process, he informed us that his goal was to move the home closer to Cape Coast. They didn't have the funds for it, and they were reaching out to Two Pennies for some assistance with that. Like a lot of the things that we did back in those early days, we took a step of faith and we said, why don't you start looking for a piece of land in an area that you think would be productive?
Two Pennies ministry came into the life of Love and Care for the past 4 years, and it was just like a mere conversation. I hardly thought that it could turn into something else deeper than I ever imagined.
They were able to find a piece of land that they thought would work really well for the orphanage. The cost of that land was about $10,000, which at that time was everything we had in the bank. And that was when we saw God work in a way that to this day I can't explain. I'll never forget being in Oklahoma at my in-laws' house when we received a call from Jason Poland, the executive pastor at our church. And he asked me a question. He said, "Do you have any idea what you would do with a gift of $50,000 for Two Pennies ministry?" Immediately I said, well, yeah, our next project would be to build a home for Love and Care. And he said, "Jim, you didn't get $50,000. You've actually gotten an anonymous gift of $100,000. And I was floored. We suddenly had the amount that we needed to build a home for these kids. With that generous gift, we were able to build a home for the children in Asebu, which is a village just north of Cape Coast. It sits on top of a hill. It's beautiful. It has a full bathroom with full running water. It has a kitchen. It has rooms for the children to live in. And most importantly, it has electricity. Each one of the 15 children who now live in the Love and Care Foundation were paired up with sponsorships of families, or in one case a classroom, or individuals here in the United States. We spoke with Comfort a couple years ago, and she was able to speak to what that relationship means for these children at Love and Care.
For Africans, it's an excitement when you are connected to the outside world, Europe and United States. And so for these kids to know they have people coming from all the way from the United States to take them as their sponsors, it's a great joy to them. And not just hearing it, but sometimes seeing the sponsors coming down to them, it's a great joy to them. And that has built up their morale.
And it has been a beautiful thing for us to witness that, both on the side of the Ghanaian children and on the side of their American sponsors here, and the relationships that they've developed over the years.
can see that the sort of things we want them to dream about, it's really coming to fruition. Because when you ask them what do you want to become in future, they tell us big things like, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, a nurse, a teacher, a journalist. And so you can see love and care is having a great impact on them.
Comfort works as an accountant for the University of Cape Coast, and Ebenezer works in administration in local school districts. And so while their resources are limited and they work in regular jobs, they have spent their lives pouring into these kids for the last 10 years.
And that is a joy to us, because that is what we want to see them. We want them to see beyond the environment from which they came from. And so we had always dreamt of a very good environment for them. And thanks to Two Pennies Ministry, they brought us into the right environment. And this is really having a great impact on them.
Although the home is completely sponsored, if you feel led to make a donation to them, there is a link down below that'll take you to the page where you can make a donation to the Love and Care Home, and we'll make sure that goes to a worthwhile project. Next week, we are going to bring you an updated version of a video that we produced a couple years ago about daily life in Ghana, a student in Ghana. And we're excited to kind of update that video and share with you just what it looks like for a student in junior high school in Ghana, West Africa. So thank you so much for being here and watching this video and rejoicing with us in what's going on in this amazing home in Ghana. If you can, click on that subscribe button below. The more subscribers we have, the more effective our message and the more widespread our message. So thank you so much for watching this video, and God bless.
Two Pennies has really brought our dreams to realities. We hardly thought that we could even come this far had it not been for Two Pennies coming into the life of Love and Care Foundation. So Two Pennies for us is a great partnership for us.